Hello. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad to be here with you. So, welcome. Welcome to the Advancement Center, and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. Do you believe in magic and miracles? Or perhaps I should say, what have you been led to believe? Before that, everything is magic. Everything is new, a surprise, and a wonder. You were discovering life in all its forms. Some were delicious as you tasted everything, and your parents snatched it right out of your mouths. I bet you don't remember that, but I've been a parent and I've done my snatching. Yeah, it's so good to have you here. I'm enjoying being with you. Yeah. Then came your education. That's pretty funny. I looked up the meaning of that word, and it goes back to the root of educare, meaning to lead away from. I don't know how that got to be in our parlance, but it's there. Okay, so then came your education, a formal state-run institution came into your life, where magic and miracles were relegated to entertainment, not real, and a distraction to real learning that was practical and would serve you well. How dry can you get? Well, thank heavens for impracticality, stimulation for your imagination, and bringing forth creativity. What would the world look like without your creativity? I still remember being incensed when I was in, I don't know, sixth, seventh grade, in a cooking class in elementary school, where they spent a whole period on teaching us how to make toast. What kind of nonsense is that? I learned more from just watching a carpenter who enjoyed my questions. Yeah. Now, enough about the past. Since being with you just last Sunday, my experience exposed so much to me. Now, Tuesday night was my regular art class at 7 p.m. Now, after discovering that my mute button had been on, and that was why no one was responding to me or answering my questions, it was a little harrowing. So I rushed to catch up, and as usual, brought my pastel in to show Robert. As always, he was duly impressed, and I turned to leave and discovered I had lost all my balance. I couldn't even walk a step without fearing running into the wall it was harrowing not to have or not to be in control of your own movement and motion. Wow. Balance. Well, that's something we all take for granted. Never again. Yeah. Robert ran out to the shed and brought back a godsend. And what is that godsend? A leaning and walking stick he had made from a broom handle with rubber tips. As I said before, a godsend. My cane, quote unquote, was never out of my sight. Never. An inner dialogue had begun, employing my active imagination at all times. Like I was wearing an iron skirt in the form of the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you've ever visited there, it's huge and it's iron and it doesn't tip over. And having to squeeze through doorways, that's where imagination comes in, because I had my imagination fill in for my lack of balance. One day, I walked to my closet across the room without my helper. This grew incrementally until I realized the stick was still back in the bedroom. Robert and I chalked this recovery up, you guessed it, magic and miracles. No doctors, no prescriptions, no diagnosis, or any external interference. Just a knowing and the total support of love with a large helping of magic and miracles. Yes, I totally believe in magic and miracles. I so enjoyed last Sunday's sharing of my remembrances with the children and my love for my dad and his gift of The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And I read his words, remember, all about children and how they do not belong to you. That was powerful. And I've always loved those words. So this week has been full, and I just described why. And it was filled with support from friends. Yeah, I had friends support all the time. Phone, messages, all day, all week. So it led me to thinking, what does Khalil Gibran say about friends? And I share this with you now. Friendship by Khalil Gibran. And a youth said, speak to us of friendship. Your friend is your needs answered. Wow. He is your field which you sow with love and reap with thanksgiving. And he is your board and your fireside. For you come to him with your hunger and you seek him for peace. When your friend speaks his mind, you fear not the nay in your own mind, nor do you withhold the I. Yeah. And when he is silent, your heart ceases not to listen to his heart. For without words, in friendship, all thoughts, all desires, all expectations are born and shared with joy that is unacclaimed. Is that right? Which is unacclaimed. When you part from your friend, you grieve not, for that which you love most in him may be clearer in his absence, as the mountain to the climber is clearer from the plain. And let there be no purpose in friendship save the deepening of the spirit. For love that seeks aught but the disclosure of its own mystery is not love, but a net cast forth, and only the unprofitable is caught. And let your best be for your friend. If he must know the ebb of your tide, let him know its flood also. For what is your friend that you should seek him with hours to kill? Seek him always with hours to live. For it is his to fill your need, but not your emptiness. Yeah. And in the sweetness of friendship, let there be laughter and sharing of pleasures. For in the dew, DEW, of little things, the heart finds its morning and is refreshed. Now that probably bears a retelling, but the words linger and they have a sweet feeling of how I feel with my friends. There are no limits. There are no shoulds and ought tos, just friendship. Yeah. Now here is the pastel that preceded all the drama. Here it is. Once again, I get to do reflections in the water. I do enjoy that. And I hope you do too. We will meet again next week. And my wish for us all is to have an amazing week of joy leading to a perfect life with perfect health and a future filled to the brim with all your best wishes coming true. Thanks for joining me, and I sign off with all my love. I am Barbara.